everyone, I'm Madame Macabre, and welcome to part number 3 of my Learn to Read Tarot series. Today we're going to be picking right back up where we left off. In video number 2, if you haven't seen it yet, we cover how to read the Major Arcana. Today we're moving on to the Minor Arcana. We're going to be going one suit at a time, today's suit being the suit of Wands, the element of fire. Wands, of course, being the suit of action, motivation, doing things, and feeling inspired. Now, if you have not yet watched video 1 in the series, I highly recommend running over and doing it. That's the one where I talk about numerology in the tarot, because as we move into the suits are all going to heavily rely upon that numerology for their meaning, and it will really help kickstart your ability to learn this quickly. Alright, all of that aside, let's go ahead and jump right in, starting with number 1, or as we say in tarot, the Ace. So, starting out, we have the Ace of Wands. This card speaks of new beginnings for you personally in things that you're going to pursue. This could be a new career, this could be a new hobby, a new endeavor. Whatever it is, it's going to be something that absolutely resonates with your spirit. So this is a new project that you are happy to be doing. And of course, the reverse of this card, having a new meaning. Generally, when this card appears in reverse, it has to do with delays to these new beginnings. Or it could be a complete lack of that spark, a lack of that motivation to do these new things. Next up, the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is a card that speaks of choices. You have some decisions to make, and this is the opportunity to set yourself up for success. This is about future planning and making wise decisions that are going to pay off in the long run. So think about how this can apply to projects you are trying to do. Now, the reverse of this card can often speak of you avoiding making this decision. You don't want to lock into a choice. You're kind of dilly-dallying. You don't really want to commit to something. It can also speak of a lack of planning and preparation. You should be making choices to prepare yourself. You should be doing these things, and instead you're not, and it's not going to pay off very well for you in the future. Next up, Threes. So following the energy of choices that comes with twos, we have the energy of waiting for the results after a choice has been made that comes with a 3. So, as you can see from the art of the guy here standing over a cliff looking out to the water, you could say he's waiting for his ships to come home. You have made your choice. Now you are waiting to see the consequences. Hopefully you did the preparation of the Two of Wands and you were waiting to see positive results, but it could also be in the negative and you didn't do your work and now you're waiting to see if those consequences blow up in your face. And in reverse, this card speaks that you have made a choice, but now you are doubting if that was even the right choice to make. You could also be afraid to see the results because some part of your gut knows you probably didn't make the best decision. Whether upright or reverse, this card is always going to speak on waiting to see the consequences of your own actions. On to 4. 4's in numerologies being your number of stability. In this case, it is stability of your home environment, stability of your home life. This can also represent celebrations, weddings, or even quite literally buying a new house. As you can see, the sticks sort of acting as the walls holding things together. This is a card that speaks of having good, strong foundations. Things that resonate with your spirit and make you happy, they are stable and they are built on solid ground. And reverse? The Four of Wands speaks of things not being stable, your home life, your relationships, things that are important to your spirit and your motivation. They are not doing so hot. They were built on shaky foundations, or even if the foundations were strong to begin with, they have started to crack. Whatever the case, this speaks of an unstable home life. Now the Five of Wands. So 5s are a number of change, and in this case, the 5 of Wands represents competition and a challenge. You can see from the guys whacking each other with the sticks, they're all fighting over something. This card is asking you, if there are all these people competing for the same thing, what can you change about yourself? What can you change about your approach that makes you stand out from the crowd? Now, in reverse, this card speaks of conflict avoidance. So you may be so adverse to conflict that you're willing to let yourself go to the flow to the extreme, to the point where you blend right into the crowd, you're completely invisible, and you are not standing out at all. Don't let your fear of conflict stop you from pursuing what it is you want. Don't be afraid to stand out and make yourself different enough to get noticed. The Six of Wands. Sixes being a number of harmony and balance. In this case, you're in balance with your confidence and your achievements. The Six of Wands is a card of achievements, victory, and good self-confidence. However, when in reverse, this card can mark a lack of said confidence or even a fall from grace. Perhaps you suffered a blow that bruised your ego and now you're struggling to get any sort of self-confidence at all. Next up, Seven of Wands. You have achieved success, and now you feel that you are under attack. Generally, this happens when you have climbed all the way to the top. There are gonna be people who want to knock you down. And this is where the Seven comes in, that introspection. Take a step back and reflect on this. Is this true? Where are these attacks coming from? Why are you being attacked? And are they all attacks, or are they just perceived? You really need to focus in on this and sort of find the answers from within. This card can also be a sign that you need to dig deep and persevere. You may be facing challenges in competition, but you can't give up. And when in the reversed position, this card can say that you might be feeling overwhelmed by those constant attacks coming for you. It might also be a warning that you're about to get caught unprepared, so make sure you are not a sitting duck. You may also find that some battles just aren't worth the energy, and again, that's where that introspection of the Sevens is going to come in handy. Moving on to the Eight of Wands. When the Eight of Wands appears in your spread, this is always a card of busyness and action. Tons of work, tons of travel. This can be literal or just being away from home a lot. Either way, this is a card of high energy, high movement. It's always going to have something to do with busyness, action, things are happening. When in reverse, this card speaks on being frustrated because you have all this energy, all this motivation to want to move and do things, but gosh darn it, you are just hit with delay after delay. This could be for your travel plans or fast-moving action plans or just things you want to do. Either way, you are hit with obstacles, so despite all this energy, there's nothing you can do with it. The Nine of Wands. Now we're nearly to the end of the cycle, 9 being apexes. So in the Nine of Wands, you are very defensive, possibly even paranoid. You have gone through so many trials and obstacles to get where you are, and you are so close to being there that you are now super, super on edge. And this could be absolutely true, or once again, you could be blowing it out of proportion. Either way, you are nearly there, my friend. This card is telling you, do not give into those fears, do not give into those attacks, because the finish line is just over the horizon. If you can hold out a little longer, you will get there. So the message is pretty similar to upright in the Nine of Wands, but when it's in reversed, now it's speaking on giving into those fears. You are totally on edge, you are paranoid, and you are letting it distract you from reaching the finish line because all you can think about is where the next attack is coming from. Get refocused on your mission and lax up a little bit on this before you sink your own ship. And as aces began our numerology cycle, tens will end it. So this card is telling you, you, my friend, carry a heavy burden. You may be feeling completely over it even, that you're ready to be done with what you're doing now. You've closed this chapter, you're ready to graduate, move on to bigger and better things. This could also be speaking on being stressed by the weight of success. You worked hard, you made it to the end of the cycle, and now with that success, it has a heavy shadow, and you're kind of worried that you have to keep maintaining said success. Either way, you have reached the end of this chapter, and you're trying to decide whether you want to do it all again or try something new. Now, in reverse, this card can be telling you you might have bitten off a bit more than you can chew. Consider delegating to others to lessen your burden. Alternatively, you may not actually want this responsibility you have. You want to move on and do something else, but this has been placed on your back, preventing you from going elsewhere. The court cards can be a little bit tricky because you don't have the numerology hotkey to sort of help you cheat code your way through. All that being said, however, there is a bit of a trick to this. Usually pages have to do with the environment being fertile for trying new things. Knights usually have to do with messages or signs that it's time to take action. Queens usually have to do with internalized maturity, and kings have to do with external maturity. So let's jump right into it. First, we have the Page. The Page of Wands is always going to be a pretty good sign. It's telling you that the environment you're in is fertile for new things. He speaks of inspiration, limitless potential, and a free spirit. You may not yet have a plan in place, but you have a passion and you have an idea, and you're very, very excited about starting this new thing. This card is almost always a sign that now is the time to explore new creative ideas and projects. Take some time for self-discovery, and honestly, you could even consider pursuing that creative idea you've been sitting on for a while. In reverse, this card is a little bit sadder. It speaks of pessimism, a lack of direction, possibly a setback to those ideas you were so excited about. Maybe you even tried doing that new thing and it just kind of blew up in your face or didn't do anything at all. Either way, you are limiting yourself with your own beliefs. Next up, the Knight. The Knight of Wands is a very high energy card. He's inspired to take action, he's ready for adventure, and sometimes he's a little bit impulsive. This card is almost always a sign that it is time to pursue that passion. If you were waiting for some sort of sign, here it is. He is showing up with that high energy on his horse, ready to charge into battle. Go do the thing. Now, in reverse, this card can say that you are being too impulsive, and without any idea of a plan, it might not work out. It could also speak of frustration with a lack of opportunities. You've been waiting for a sign, and it is just not showing up for you. You want to pursue that passion, but there's just no doors opening. Alternatively, you may have a ton of fire for a passion, but you're not really ready to refine it beyond just an interest yet. You have an idea, you have a thing, like a business you want to do, but you're only talking about it. You're not really actually putting the effort into making it more of a tangible concept. Moving on to the Queen. The Queen of Wands is a warm, vibrant, and determined person. She's courageous and confident and independent. Think a social butterfly when you see this card. Someone who is bold in their undertakings, who has what it takes to get what they want. You can either be the queen, or this card is someone in your life, or it's telling you you need to become the queen. And in reverse, this card is telling you that you might have lost that confidence, that glow, and now you're second guessing who you are and what you want. You may not even know what you're passionate about anymore. This may also speak on being more introverted than usual. Something around you or someone around you has faded your spark, and you need to identify what it is so you can recapture it. And finally, the last card in the suit of wands, the King of Wands. The King of Wands is that natural-born leader. He has vision. He's an entrepreneur. When this card appears, it is oftentimes a sign that it is time for you to step into the role of leadership. Organize things. Make it happen. You're somebody that has an extremely strong vision, strong enough to inspire and motivate others. So it is now your time to step up and act. In reverse, this card can be telling you that you are not being the best leader. You might be so overly focused on only your own passions that you're not leaving really much room for anyone else to contribute. Know what you want, but don't be cruel or aggressive to reach it. You may also not be ready to be in a position of leadership just yet. And alternatively, this card could be telling you not to set unrealistic expectations, that it's good to be ambitious, but you also have to remain realistic. And there you have it. Just like that, you now know the entire suit of wands. If you take notes, you now have a great study guide to get used to and learn and remember. And before long, I guarantee you're going to be able to read these things so easily. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And I hope you found this video to be helpful. Next time we will be moving on to the suit of Pentacles, so remember to keep your study guide handy. Alright guys, it was my treat being able to help you learn tarot today. That's all that we've got though, so I will catch you all next time. Remember, stay safe and well, and merry met, friends!